Hello, my friends. How are you today? Hi, my name is Natasha. I am the creator and the founder of the Glow Up Method, and I'm so excited to be here with you today. I have had a pretty good day today. I'm still very reserved and kind of in my process of what is happening to another family that I hold so dear in my heart. And especially today, we were just a few feet away from the hospital in which the young man is in. And so it's just was this very like somber kind of feeling kind of over it, because it's like I just can't get over the fact sometimes that here we are having a good time and somebody else is like fighting for their life and fighting for any preservation of what their life looked like before like a snap of a finger changed that. So like it just does some weird stuff with my mind, but I really tried to make the best of it. So today I had took my boys to it's called Cali Classico. It's a soccer game it's like a one they do every year. It's up at Stanford Stadium. It's the San Jose Earthquakes versus the LA Galaxy, and they usually have a whole firework afterwards. We didn't end up staying for that because we lost the game so bad, and they were like, they didn't care, and I didn't want to get stuck in hours of traffic for a few fireworks. So, we had a good time. So Brad had his two college roommates, and Dylan brought a friend. Tyler had friends there in the stadium that he met up with a couple times and, chatted with or whatever. So we hung together and watched the game, and it didn't have a great ending to the game or beginning or middle. However, being there with my kids, I just really appreciated it. Like I left them playing in the parking lot for a little bit while we brought some like cornhole, and the older kids were doing some table games and had some drinks and things like that. And the other ones were doing like cornhole and other things. But I walked off to the will call to go pick up my tickets and then walk back. So I kind of got to walk the campus, which was pretty, and we all went to lunch together. And so I just felt like it was a really good day. And I had started my day, I didn't set my alarm, but I was like, if I wake up early enough, I'm gonna go to this dance class. I don't usually do it because I don't know the moves. It's a lot more, I don't know. It just seems like it's like quicker, like motions. And I know if I did it long enough, I would get it. I don't know. And I like the music. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just sometimes I just feel so lost in it that like today, I was lost the entire 50 minutes. I mean, I had fun. I had a good time. And then I went crazy and I was like, you know what? I'm going to do a boot camp class because I really love the instructor that teaches it. And it's been like a solid year since I've done her class. Like about a year ago, we had this full on moment. I just did one of her classes. Like I have done her sprinkled in and out. She's really hard. She's really, really, really hard. And it's not like a dance class or anything like that. So it's nothing like, oh, it's hard, but like, here's this reward. Like it's hard. So I really had to like hype your bestie up today to do it. And then she also had to she does these meditation classes, and this is where we had the moment. And it was around this time last year because it's when my son tore his ACL. And so it was right probably now, because it was like, we've done the MRI, we've done the thing, we're just waiting to go back to the doctors to have the results read. But I'm pretty sure in my gut that's what's happened, because I like I said here, I do a lot of research, I do a lot of things, and there was a particular word in the x-ray and a particular word in the MRI that was like, this doesn't, they just kind of stick out to me like, these kind of sound problematic. And then when I was doing my research and my Googling, I'm like, yeah, pretty much this is it. So I remember actually being at this game last year, and it was quite a different things because my son had just been injured, and I ordered a wheelchair to make sure that he could still go to this game. And, we had all these plans and things. And so I wanted to have him be able to do that. And we did, and we did, obviously, like I said, we didn't know to the extent of what his injury was at that point. Um, but we were all able to go to the game as a family again. Sans my daughter, she doesn't go to these games, but you know, all the boys, we all were there. And yeah, so what a difference a year makes, you know, here and now. A year ago, both my kids had intact knees without scars, but now, you know, I was looking over and, you know, both of them have big scars on their, one has a very big scar, one has multiple scars on it, on their knee, and just damn, what a year that's been. Um, and again, like I said, at the back of my mind, I can't even like complain about that. Like I can't even be like, oh, upset about it, because like half a mile away of somebody next to us is like gonna like, that would be a blessing, you know. That would be just so lucky if that was all they had to contend with at this very moment. So again, my thoughts are constantly with him. Like, it just keeps popping up, and his mom and his siblings and his dad and the grandparents, because they're a very engaged and supportive family. So, you know, we've seen the extended family at things. Like, even when we were in Vegas, all of a sudden a grandma showing up and stuff. So, you know, he has a huge support network, like I said. But it definitely it weighs on me. So anyways, I did a boot camp class today. I will never say like, oh yeah, damn, but right now, like, my shoulders are actually feeling it. So I know that there's a part of me that it's not like, oh yay, I can go to boot camp, and then, but it actually was really good for me. And so I'm glad I stuck it out. I don't know what possessed me to really do it, but I was like, what am I going to hurry home to? Like, I have somewhere to go at like 3:30, but until then. So I did it, and I'm really proud that I stuck through it. I'm probably going to feel it tomorrow because, you know, it's a lot of weights and a lot of cardio and push-ups and not things that I usually sign up for, like voluntarily, but I did it. So we'll see how I feel tomorrow, if I'm like, but I really am like in this little bit of an adventurous thing. Like, usually on the weekends, I've been like, okay, I need to get work done, and okay, let me catch up on this, and let me do this and this. And I'm just really in this mode to like, I haven't been to the beach in a long time. Like, I really want to go to the beach again. So I'm 50-50 on it. If I want to go like on a Sunday, there's a lot of traffic, versus if I would just wait till a Monday. But then Monday is, you know, that's when life gets back to life, and just like everybody else. So we'll see what I end up doing, if I end up doing any of those things, or not. But yeah, so I don't know what my day has in store for me tomorrow. And I don't know how sore I'll end up being. I think my lower body is gonna be a-okay, but it's the upper body that's kind of like, oh yeah, did something you're not used to doing. So I say all that to say, I really don't have a whole lot of guidance and direction for where I'm going today, as if I ever really do. But I've been thinking a lot. Like, I feel very fortunate that this year, like, I was looking at my vision board just earlier today, and I was like, damn, like, so many years I've had this like vision of doing a vision board and this desire, and, you know, I've made a folder on my computer or done other things, and it just never was a priority. And now I'm looking at it and I'm like, this is crazy. Like, it's absolutely crazy to me. Most of my vision board is filled with traveling, maybe a couple like things like, you know, like I say, I have an old car, so like there was a newer car, like, but nothing that I was like, oh, you know, like I was just like, I'm gonna throw this on here, you know. But like, it had my water bottles on there, it had a lot of travel on there. And the funny thing is like, I never would have known I was going to Amsterdam. Like, that wasn't even like in an idea. But there's the canals on the board, and I didn't even like put the two together. There's a cruise ship on there, and I'm going on a cruise in, according to my app, 107 days. I've got to travel to places with my son. So, like, I feel very adventurous this year, and I feel very grateful for that opportunity because I feel like I'm learning so much and I'm getting this courage to say, oh, I can do these hard things. Oh, I can go to these places. Oh, I can navigate this with all by myself. And so that is giving me this confidence to go out there and do it. And now I'm like, oh, where are there like deals, and where can I go? And I used to get all like paranoid about like, oh my gosh, I can't be on a plane for 10 hours or 12 hours, and what will I do? And da 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 da. I was like, it just literally isn't that deep. I'm making things deeper than they need to be. And so, I'm like, yeah, I can do it. I actually really like to fly. It doesn't bother me. Like, it's not like obviously ideal, but like, it's not something that like for many years I was so paranoid about and so like scared of. And I'm like, it's not that bad. Like, it's not that bad. So I say all that to say I do have some things that I really need to get caught up on. I'm caught up on a lot. Like, I feel pretty good where I'm at. And then, this week I've got one of my sons is leaving out of town for a week or so. And, like, it's 4th of July. So there's like, it's a little bit different of a kind of a week. And so I don't feel like there's a whole lot of pressure. My daughter will be returning, who brings her own energy and essence into the home. Chris has decided to come back, and so he's here. I haven't really interacted or talked with him, so it's not like it's nothing, like he's doing his own thing, whatever. That gives me a sense of kind of peace and knowing. And before he returned, I was like, my only request is, like, we are a community, we all contribute around here. And this should be a place of safety and peace. And I know your own problems are forefront in your mind, but every single person in this house is going through something, and nobody's something is more important than the other person's something. And so to really be cognizant about how you're interacting with people. You may not like the situation you're in, but it's not right to then take it out on me or others because you're upset in the situation you have chosen to be in. You have the power to change it. You have the power to alter it. It is not somebody else's responsibility to fix it, to change it, and then as a result, like, mistreat other people as a result of it. So hopefully some of these things sunk in, and there can be a level of peace. That's all I am looking for. That's all I've ever wanted, was just a sense of peace and just calm in the home, right? Like, there is so much chaos when you leave these doors, and even sometimes within here when you have this many people in a small house. But it is just so important for me to know, like, home can be a sanctuary, and it may not be my dream home, and it may not have all the things that I would love to have to make it more comforting and more of these things, but I can control what I can control. I can make this the most peaceful, pleasant place I can be, while I'm here. Next week is supposed to be very, very hot as well. So it's like, it's supposed to get up to like 105 for a couple of days. That's hot for me. So, again, that's like another thing to like navigate and figure out. And so I've been trying to think, like, perhaps I'll do some of my work, even if it gets too hot here, I'll go to the gym and do some work. And that gives me some peace, because there's like little nooks and crannies in the local Pleasanton one here that I can put on some headphones and do my work, get things done without all the distractions that I have when I'm here. Like, somebody's hungry, and then I feel like guilty, not cooking. Like yesterday, Dylan really wanted chicken and rice, and the day before, Tyler really wanted a smoothie, and I was like, make one. And they're like, no, we want you to. And I was like, but I don't want to make it right now. Like, I have all these things I'm doing, and usually I just would. And I'm learning to say, no, you can too. Like, I'm here working, I'm here doing things, and you're 16 and 18. And if you want chicken and rice, that doesn't mean mom's going to make the chicken and rice every time, because I wasn't going to eat it. Not that everything has to be if I'm going to eat it, but like, I just didn't want to. I had already had a plan and things, and making chicken and rice wasn't on that plan. And so I felt like this was totally something he was capable of doing. And stubbornly or lazily or just not wanting to leave, he didn't do it. And so, he obviously didn't get it. And the same went with the smoothie. And it was like, no, but you make the smoothies better, and all these things. And it was just like, but I don't want to. Like, I literally, in my jammies, I'm about to lay down in bed. I don't want to go and dig out frozen fruit and feel flustered and frustrated because I don't like making smoothies in the first place. But then there's this part of me that feels so guilty for saying no. There's this part of me that's like, oh my gosh, you're a bad mom. You're not supportive. You're not helpful. Like, all these things. And I'm really working hard to say, no, I am. I'm a great mom. I get them to every one of their PT appointments on time or early. Like, we're never late. I sit there with them. I go to the doctor's appointments. Like, I am a good mom. I, take them to, earthquake games. I tell them, I pack snacks. I pack some waters and drinks and things like that. The non-alcoholic stuff. Alcoholic people, they can take care of their own. But I prepare, bring games, like have ideas and things for them to do. And so I am a good mom. Just because I make chicken and rice, it doesn't mean I'm not a good mom. Or just because I choose to not make a smoothie, it doesn't mean I'm not a good mom. Like, they say no to me all the time, and I don't love them any less or think that they're bad kids. I just didn't want to do it. So, like, getting used to saying no, and now working on the part where I don't feel guilty about it, or, like, beat myself up because I didn't want to do that. And I should not have to do it. And it's not like it's every day. Like, I do make food and I do things like that, but I don't want to spend every day with 3 hours in the kitchen cooking for somebody else or cleaning someone else. Like, I looked in the kitchen and I was like, I asked everybody to do the dishes too, and the dishes haven't even been done. So why should I now do more, like have to do the dishes to even get to the cooking of the everything, when you guys have been hanging out here having summer break, enjoying yourself. So I say that to say that. And then, I'm just having a lot of like conflict in, like, my mom's relationship and I is always been like a rocky road, right? And we were on pretty good ground and everything. And she asked for something recently, and it just really made me feel very like used, and it made me feel very unappreciated, or like very considered. And I try to sit back and see her perspective of the situation and her thing, and I do see it. But again, it's just one of those things where it's like, you have no idea what's going on in my day-to-day life. And so suddenly you want something from me, and I don't have the space, the time, the energy, or the desire to do this. And I get it's really high and pressing for you, but it's not for me. And you're in the predicament you're in. Not because of me, like, it's not my fault. So I get it, but it also is like, I don't know. I just feel like I don't know the full story. Like, sometimes how that happens. Like, something is telling you, like, oh, somebody's telling you something, but they're not quite telling you everything. Like, and, I usually at that point just let people sit back, because eventually it will come out. And I learned how to be very patient in those scenarios where, if you press somebody too hard, like, it's never going to come out. But if you just dangle a little bit, you ask a little bit more on another day, ask a little bit more, eventually the whole story comes together. And so, I have this sense that there's something bigger and more going on than what's being told. And, I don't know. I just am in a very conflicted state right now with that status of the relationship. Like, and I don't, as a result, like, I just don't have the desire to communicate, which is sad, because like, I do like going to her house in the summer, but I honestly don't want to have any kind of conversations, because like, like hanging out in the lake was like a place to go and chill and be relaxed. Like going and having serious conversations is not chill and it's not relaxed. And so I'm not going to choose to go do that when I already have so much of this like not chill and not relaxed here going on. So yeah, like that's kind of like weighing on me. And I've been wanting to reach out to my sister. I haven't done it yet. And I probably will tomorrow. Like it just hasn't, I haven't had the time or the opportunity to like execute what I want to say. I mean, I probably had the time because I've spent, you know, at least 20 hours now, you know, since upon hearing about this injury, researching injuries like this, researching the different outcomes and the different advances in technology and, you know, triumph stories. And I just want to hear it all. And so I'm really like in it, and I'm trying to, you know, and then I find something else out and I'm now back in the cycle of like re-educating and learning some more stuff. So I know eventually, you know, the full current picture will be revealed. And I will, it also helps too because when my kids ask questions, I'm able to have some kind of knowledge and say what I know, what I'm aware of, what I've learned, you know, on average, or, you know, here's the, you know, typical, but there's always room. There's always that N of one, right? Like that is him. Like, and like I said, he is a tenacious, a very competitive, a very driven, a very goal oriented, individual. So, you know, he doesn't have the type of personality to just sit back and be like, I'm not doing anything. Like, whatever his program is going to be, he is going to be grinding it 1,000,000,000%. I know that for sure. Regardless of what you read in any kind of literature. Because again, like I say, like once I heard that, like when my uncle was given a 0% chance of survival and then he lived for 7 years after that, like 0%, like two different people, doctors and nurses, looked us in the eye and said 0%, zero, not a 0.1, no, zero. And he lived 7 years after that. So again, I feel like, yes, doctors are amazing. They're phenomenal. They've put in an amazing amount of time and energy into mastering this craft, but they're not all created equal. And they are not gods. Even though they act like them sometimes, they are not gods. Like they are not all knowing. There's always those outliers where, you know, the unexpected happens in a really good way. Like someone beats a disease, someone, you know, like, so I always do believe that there is room for a miracle. I mean, every day that I was praying for Dylan, I was praying for a miracle. And maybe if I would have waited a year or 2 years or 10 years or 20 years, maybe the miracle would have came. And so there was a conflict in that because I was like, well, maybe I'm just not giving it enough time. Like it needs to rush, but he was in a medical emergency. They needed to do emergency surgery. His seizures were no longer being able to be controlled with the medicines. They kept breaking through. And so, you know, every time he has a seizure, it was causing brain damage. It was causing, you know, the potential for something terrible to happen while having the seizure, hitting a head or, you know, doing all these things. So the risks didn't outweigh the benefit of them maybe having a miracle and it having miraculous healing. And then I shifted my prayers when I knew that, you know, this is the avenue we're going. I still waited for a miracle all the way up until during the surgery, but I also included praying for the miracles to happen through doctors. Like to know, like if this kid was born 100 years ago, yeah, no, there wasn't this, you know, kind of, he may have been put in some kind of loony bin because he's having these seizures and they don't know what it is, like, you know. So I don't even know if that's probably not even politically correct, but I swear that was what they were called in my school books or whatever, but I don't know. So my part of me, if that offends somebody, but like, I didn't, maybe psychiatric, I don't know what they called it back then, but it was, I don't know where he would have been 100 years from now. And definitely they wouldn't have been able to repair it. And the same goes for my oldest son with, his heart problems and being in a neonatal intensive care unit. Like, no way did they have that stuff 100 years ago. So, you have the blessing of being born when you're born and those advantages that come with that. And so I'm very grateful for all the miraculous things that they do. It's not something I can do. I can't cut open to my kids and put their knees back together, or, take, something from a quad and an IT band and braid it together and clean out the old ACL that I made for him. I was so kind to give him, my DNA, and, and then here he goes and just gets rid of it, doesn't want it, creates his own. So, puts, the doctor then puts it all together, creates an ACL where there was no ACL. And, voila, he's running around now again. So, I have the highest esteem for what they do, but I do know that there is a margin that allows for a miracle. I know they exist. Like my uncle surviving that is a miracle, right? Like he was in a coma for days and days and days, and then suddenly he woke up out of the blue and was like, it's hot. Like, I'm hot in here. And so, we were joking. We were like, were you in hell? Like, was it purgatory? Like, what was going on? And for him, he was like, no, for real. It like was these weird colors, and I couldn't get out of this place. And I was trying and trying and trying and trying to get out, and I couldn't get out. And it was hot, and I was really thirsty, and I had no relief. And speaking of hot, like I saw this funny thing, just because it's like there's heat waves, it's summer, you always hear about these things. It was like this little lady, she's on a bench, she was fanning herself. It was like a video, a TikTok or something, and she is like, I'm a changed woman, like I am repentant. I am sitting here in this heat, and I just realized I am not made for hell. So I'm a changed woman. I'm gonna be the best person now out there, because I cannot be going to hell. Like, it is too hot for me. So I thought that was super funny. I was like, I like that. I probably am with you. Although I will say, like, I'm not a fan of heat, but it's crazy to me how losing so much of my insulation, like I said, I used to say this all the time, like when I was overweight, like my body is made for Siberia. Like, I can hold on. This is insulation. This is to protect me from all that cold, right? And so I couldn't stand the heat. Like, I was melting if it was 81 degrees. And now I'm like, it's like 100 degrees, and I'm like, it's not that bad. I mean, granted, even the dry and the wet heat, like even in Texas, and where else did I go that was really humid? I went somewhere else that was humid. Sweden was not humid. Amsterdam was not humid. I feel like I went to 2 places humid, and I'm like spacing out now where I've been. I feel like I've been on the go so much here, but maybe it was just Texas then with the humidity, but it was so hot, and I didn't mind it. Like, it really wasn't that bad. It was like, oh, okay, that was hot, or whatever, or when I've been hot here again, I'm like, oh, it's hot, but it does not affect me like it used to. So for all you big girls out there and big boys and big whatevers, I hear you. Like, it is a different experience when you have all that insulation on you. When you walk out in the heat, like I don't know, like for me, the heat is like, it may be the same temperature, but it is like 10 degrees, 20 degrees cooler on this physique versus on the physique I used to have. So it is like, and one of my friends was talking to me at the gym, like she was saying something, and she's the one who was like, I need to have you be like my accountability coach. I'm like, I will be. Like, I would do anything to like support somebody in their journey. I'm like, and I'm just fun. Like, I'm slow and fun. So it would not be like, I am not kicking anybody's butt over here. that would not have worked for me at all. But like, you know, like she was like, it's harder for me. And I was like, no, it is. Like, everything you do is harder. Like, I may sit here and look like I have so much energy and be bumping around, and it may catch more attention because I may have bigger moves or something like that. But I know for you, it is 10 times harder than what it is for me, because I've been you and I've been me. And that's what she's just like, yes, it is. And I'm like, no, it is. And I was like, and I had a physical therapist tell me that, like, with every pound we lose, it's like 4 pounds off the knee or something like that, because the force or something. So anyways, I say all this to say I digress. But like, thank you for hanging in here with me for these last few days. I know it's been all over the map, but that's just kind of how I am and where I'm at. And the whole point of this is to be raw and to be vulnerable and to be honest about who I am and who this experience is, because I think through my honesty, there's going to be something that you connect with, and something that's maybe shameful or secretive or hidden away, or you feel like you shouldn't feel, or it's not okay to feel. But I'm here to say it is a part of the whole journey. And yes, I'm a bubbly and nice and happy person most of the time. But there are those days and those times when life's like, nobody in the million years would have expected something like that to happen. You can't even anticipate. And even if somewhere in your brain it comes up with it, you're like, no, go away. Don't put that in the universe. I don't want to think about that kind of stuff. Like, no. You know? So I say all that to say, even though things are happening around us, and even though they're really challenging or even directly to us, we still get to choose. That's the cool thing, is we really do get to choose. The emotions, the feelings, they are just signals, and we can choose. Do we respond to it? I'm pissed off right now, and do I respond to it, or do I acknowledge it? Like, how we interact, what we can do. There is only one thing we can do, is control us. We cannot control anybody else, and we can only control what our controllables are. And not everything is controllable. The weather isn't controllable. You know, lighting isn't always controllable. Other people are definitely not controllable. So I say all this to say, thank you so much for tuning in today. I really appreciate you. I am so grateful to have this platform and this place to come and talk and discuss these crazy, weird things that have happened in my life. And I hope that by sharing this with you, that something connects, and you know that you are not alone, and that you know everything will be okay, and that somebody out there gets you, like really gets you. So I say all that to say thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate you. I hope you have a magnificent day. I adore you. I love you. Thank you so much. Please go out there today, give somebody a big smile, give them a compliment, and just watch how they glow up.